Hey Pisces, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. These are general readings. We take what works, leave what doesn't. Check your other major placements if you want. We're starting off this week with the Oracle of Mystical Moments for an intuitive vibe of where we're going. And then we'll move to the Muse Tarot for a more, more traditional. The spread will be traditional, but the Muse Tarot has a way of opening up a more intuitive reading for me. So we'll see what we get. Also, I do appreciate your likes and your comments, but also especially your subscribe. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do. It helps other people find the channel. What do we got here? I would like one more. I feel like we need one more here. Thank you. All right, some stagnancy, new directions, heading in alternate directions, and lots of things changing. All right, Libra got this one too. We've got home in the sky. We've got some choice here to not move forward, to not go towards something, to stay. There's some stagnant energy, and so you're staying home. This is a little bit of a quarantine card, I guess. But you're staying home. You're choosing to do so. You could fly off, but you're not. This card can sometimes feel like really stagnant energy, having gotten into a rut, having gotten into a place, an uninspired place. There is a promise here that this will not last forever. This isn't going to go on forever. But this is for now a very uninspired, almost silent place of comfort. You might have gotten a little too comfortable with where you're at with the situation, or you have in the recent past been very comfortable, overly comfortable with your situation, and allowing yourself to stagnate. It just could also be there's just a time here. It's just that time. Nothing's really pulling you forward. Nothing's drawing you towards change. One of my favorite quotes is from the Tao Te Ching. I forget, is it number 15? I can't remember, but it's having the power to wait until the right movement arises all by itself, and being able to just wait until that. So you could just not be getting any intuitive information about where to move forward. So instead, you're sitting tight. You're staying here. You might be even getting a little comfortable here. I think this card comes in as a message that you're not going to be staying in this space forever. Your intuition is going to lead you forward at some point, but right now I feel like this card for me right now is coming in as it's okay to be here, to be a little stagnant, to just be in this stable place of sort of quiet contemplation, staying comfortable. It's not going to go on forever. So almost taking a rest here and feeling comfortable with the stagnancy, feeling comfortable with, getting comfortable with this station, with this sort of way station, or this sort of ski cabin that you skied out to, and then you stay at the cabin, and then you keep skiing, cross-country skiing. That's what I'm thinking here. So this is just like a pit stop of comfort stop, a rest stop, really. You're at a bit of a rest stop, and your intuition isn't giving you some strong hits. But the shit's going down anyway. I mean, what on earth? It's kind of a little strange. Two very separate energies here going on. So you could be at sort of a shifting moment between having gotten comfortable with where you're at, comfortable with the situation, because we have this card, redirections. And it's that there was this plan here. It was supposed to go this way. It's not going that way. You're bailing, you're grabbing something here. You thought this is just like, you thought this is where you were going. You thought this was the plan. You thought this was the thing. And then everybody else can see that was never going to work. And so it gets blown to pieces. You grab a secondary plan. You grab a next plan. You grab your plan B, your plan, your backup plan, and you just go for it here. So this is you. This situation isn't working out. It wasn't ever going to work out long term. It's not supposed to be permanent. It wasn't a balloon. It was actually supposed to blow apart once this breeze came in. Oh my gosh, I just noticed that. This is the actual balloon. This is a play balloon. Once that breeze starts moving this forward, what you've got kind of gets blown to pieces, and you've got to just grab onto something. You've got to grab on your little raft as the Titanic goes down and take off and survive, right? So, but your instincts are guiding you. These guys are stuck here freaking out. Oh my gosh, what's going on? And you're like, I don't even know I'm out. So there's some sort of, this is just a classic redirection. So it's just things are going along and then something happens and it's just like I was saying, this is just a rest stop. This isn't permanent, this comfort, this place of this rest stop. That's all it is, because we've got a lot of movement coming through at some point here, and it's gonna move things. So just take the rest while you've got it here. And also I feel like with this redirection card, you're going to know exactly what to grab onto. It's not going to be like this here. Your intuition's very small, very thin, not really pulling you towards anything. This is going to be really, really clear what you need to do. Maybe other people won't think that that's the right thing to do, but you'll know. And then you have change of seasons, big things changing all around you. This is almost being comfortable with change. I feel like with these three cards together, that this is a rest stop, but as soon as things keep changing, I think you get to stay at rest while the things change around you. I mean, this redirection has you taking some kind of risk here to sort of save yourself, taking a risk and going in a different direction than you thought you were going to go. But this card has this change blowing through. I mean, there's a lot of waiting for the wind, and then when the wind comes, it really changes the dynamic, puts you in a totally different direction. And your job, I think, is to remain comfortable and still and calm as sort of your clothes and your whole life and everything around it gets rearranged by this wind. Here, you're waiting for the wind at your rest stop. Here, the wind comes through. I think you still get to stand here and wait and allow this to happen, allow this change to come through. You'll feel very vulnerable, but it is changing everything, and it was always meant to. You've always been waiting for this wind to come through. You've been waiting for this wind maybe for quite some time to come through, and it is going to change everything. It is going to set you off in a very new direction, or it's a redirection, changing things. It's been waiting for you. You've been waiting for it. You've been prepared, I feel like. Like, this is very prepared, and just sitting here waiting for that action to arise all by itself. I do see it arising all by itself without you having to do anything to create it. You're waiting here. It's arising all by itself, and it's moving you in a different direction and in a different place. I don't think these guys are panicking. You're not panicked. You have your golden parachute here. You're not panicked. You just adapted. Okay, so this is all changing. This isn't going the way it originally planned. I knew that was going to happen. It's almost like you're aware enough of life's little tricks and turns that you understood that even though you thought you knew what you were waiting for, you understand that you're not. You don't know what you're waiting for, and you're just allowing a massive big change to come through your life, and you allow it. That's what I'm getting from those cards. You've been waiting for the winds of change to come. It's almost like the winds of change arrived and you were like, I was expecting you. I am prepared. So, and then there's no resistance here. You just go with the flow. So if you haven't hit that moment yet, you're resting. If it is, go with the flow. Let it change. Let the changes come. Change is so crucial to just life itself. It is life. It is the very nature of life. The seed cracking open. I was just talking about this with maybe Capricorn. The seed cracking open, that's a change, a big change for that seed. Huge change. The seed emerging from the soil. Huge changes for that seed. It is life. These constant changes and redirections. And if the seed never cracked out of that pod, it would be a dud. It would be a dead seed, right? And if the seed never cracks the soil, then it's not life, is it? And then if the seed doesn't grow and doesn't flower and doesn't produce fruit, and all of these big changes that happen throughout a plant's lifetime, and then in the end, it produces seeds for the next cycle, and it is the life. So change of seasons, redirections. I don't know. Just get comfy and cozy with change, I guess. Might as well. It's actually kind of weird that we're alive and we sometimes resist it. Like, we all know that's what this all is. Why do we even have that desire to resist it? I don't know. All right, Pisces, this is your past, your present, your inner landscape, what's at issue, your environment, your to-do list, and your possible outcome. I think Capricorn got this one too, so there's some overlap. If you have any other signage in Capricorn, why not? In your recent past, you have this Knight of Voices. I'm going to try to find the words that I could not find before for this one. It's pretty funny. Nope, they're not going to come. Knight of Voices here, this is communication. The Knights are about communication, about movement. This is moving around obstacles, moving around. There was communication. It was very clear. It clarified some things. It moved beyond the obstacles. It dealt with, it clarified what had been hidden, what you didn't know about. It moved around what had typically been barriers to communication. It moved around those barriers and came in possibly very quickly. There might have been a little bit of piercing harshness to the communication, but it clarified a lot of things, so that's good. Who doesn't love clarity? It's almost like through this fog and this stagnation, this communication was able to come through. A little bit rash, a little bit bold, moved very quickly, came in and maybe was a little bit surprising for you. In your current situation, you have 5 of emotions. This can be frozen in time, frozen in a grief process, stuck in some sort of grief process. But I do see that it's giving way, that it's melting, and we're getting back some flow back. It might have been this communication, this sharp, clear communication that was agile enough to go around sort of the obstacle course that we all have with communication, that it can be. It was agile enough to move around any obfuscation, around anything. So again, with this stagnancy card, though, I'm seeing this echoed with this 5 of emotions. There's this stagnancy here. I'm seeing the 5 of emotions as stuck, trapped in a frozen, in a painful place. It is starting to melt. It is starting to flow. These emotions are meant to flow, and it feels like you were maybe at some point been trapped in them. There's a lot of sharpish kind of communication here. There's some sharp edges going on here. You were trapped in a very rigid place of grief and sadness, almost trapped in your sadness. Reminds me of Aang from Avatar, being stuck in the frozen for 100 years, right? So this thing that was supposed to be flowing and supposed to be moving and alive and changing got stuck and frozen. It could be feelings. It is feelings. It's 5 emotions. You're stuck in a painful place. There is some flow happening. There's some melting, some movement starting. But overall, those emotions are meant to flow. They're meant to flow through us. We're meant to cry. We're meant to cry. I cry every day. I think of it as a physiological thing, like taking my daily poo. It's just not allowing those feelings to get trapped in my body, that energy to get trapped in my body, but allowing myself to release the things that need to be released. And I mean, I don't like, it's my time to cry, but it flows, right? And I think it's very important. And I think it's actually crucial for emotional health in a way that maybe isn't commonly thought of that way. But that's how I think about crying, is do it as often as your body wants it to. And so I see that there may be some crying, there may be some releasing of emotions that have been frozen, and allowing them to start flowing and to move through you and to experience that release and that flow, and de-thawing some sort of painful pain. De-thawing your pain and allowing it to flow, allowing yourself to express it. It all helps with keeping your emotions in the flow and helping you move forward with your life. So A grief process, trapped and frozen, but it's being released now and being worked through now. In your inner landscape, your hopes, your fears, we have Ace of Inspiration. You're hoping for a new idea. You're hoping to be inspired, to be excited, to have a new beginning. I think you'd really like to have a new creative beginning. There's been some difficulty, there's been some pain, and I think that you would really like, I mean, I'm almost seeing these, is this coronavirus showing up here? Kinda. Okay, we're just gonna ignore that. But they're almost like seeds, right? You're hoping for some seeds to come in and inspire you, inspire new beginning is what you're looking for. Some maybe, oh yeah, I can totally see the stagnancy here, the stagnancy, and looking for a seed to come in. But look what you grab onto, a seed. Now that seed, that's supposed to move like that. That's the right thing. That's how that's supposed to go. So here you're hoping for a release from this stagnancy, from this trapped situation, trapped feelings, trapped emotions. You're hoping for some release to that and to get going on this change, to get the seed planted and to allow change to start happening. I think you might be a little bit eager for change, eager for this new redirection, eager for something to change. I mean, I just see this change and I see you, maybe you're fearing it too, because it is in your hopes and fears. You might be afraid of the change, but once it comes, I think you're going to be happy with it. You're going to allow it. So you're hoping for this flow, and look at this emotional flow here. It's going to bring some water, bring in some water to this desert, and this new changes coming in, a lot of new stuff coming in. And you could be afraid of those new changes, but I see more like eagerly looking for this desert to become something a lot more lush, a lot more interesting and exciting and full of life. Of course, the desert is full of life. It's just like harder to find and harder to see. But I see you like longing for things to come to life. You've had some stagnant energy. Some communication was able to get through some barriers, break through the fog, cut through this smog and fog. And you're really hoping that as things get flowing, as these emotions get flowing, that it starts a really positive change and it plants a seed. I mean, that's really funny because I was talking about seeds. So you're hoping for it to plant the seed, for that seed to get planted for change and for growth. I almost see you as being ready for growth and ready for something in your life to change and start flowing. Because I didn't feel a lot of fear from those earlier things. And even those is in your hopes and fears, I feel that it could be more leaning on towards hope rather than fear, being driven by fear. Oh, we were talking about the Lover's card in Aquarius probably, and just like what fuel are you putting in your tank to move you forward? Are you putting in fuel of love, of what you want and moving towards something, or are you putting in fuel of fear, fuel of certainty? You know, what's your driver? What moves you forward in life? So I feel like this relates somehow to this Ace of Inspiration, where you want to be moved by a hope. You want to be moved by a dream. You want to move forward in hope here. And what's at issue is this Ace of Emotions, or some sort of but the new beginning's being blocked here. There's a stoppage. It's not coming in quite yet. The new beginning isn't quite here yet, which is what I was getting from those earlier cards from the Oracle Mystical Moments deck, is that you're somewhere in this process of the stagnancy becoming this massive change. And it's not here quite yet, but you are starting to melt. But this Ace of Emotions, there might be some repressed feelings, some difficult feelings. There's not a new inspiration of you're not feeling it quite yet. You're longing for it, but I don't think you're feeling it quite yet. There's not a new love. There's not a new emotion. It could be that what you want is the new inspiration. What you're looking for is the new inspiration, not a whole new relationship, or not a whole new whatever, but just being inspired about what's going on, or a new thing that goes on. But it's not the feeling about it isn't here. There's either not a new beginning in relationships. there's not a new beginning like that, or there's just a blockage of emotional, and you're just not feeling it yet. You're hoping for it, but you're not feeling it yet. In your current situation, in the externals, you have 6 of materials. This is a lot of work has gone into something, and it's changed you fundamentally. There could be even like some teamwork going on here, people working together. Our 6 of materials, we're talking about rose gardeners, and these rose gardeners have grown a lot of things. They've also grown internally as well as externally, which is just so beautiful when the growth you're doing and the work you're doing in your life shows up as internally changing you. So there is a lot of work someone here has done a lot of work and is pretty excited about the results of that work and looking forward to bringing this to life. There is a lot of like bringing something to life from a place of stagnancy. I mean, I guess that's just the whole general gist of this reading, is something that's been trapped and stagnant and stuck is coming to life. You don't feel it yet, but it is coming to life. It's in your environment. It's what you're hoping for. You're currently thawing something out and allowing this thing to come to life and watering it, maybe with your tears. But it is something here is coming to life and is being, the work is starting to yield results, and it's so exciting to watch those results. And so that's in your environment. Either a person or some sort of vibe here is just excitement about seeing something come to fruition, seeing these results come. Your current situation, or what your to-do list is temperance. You're working on, see these rough edges here that we had in this stuck grief process. We're sanding those down. We're getting into the flow. It's basically these emotions are going to start flowing, or something's going to start flowing here. You've been stuck and trapped in a sort of a frozen state here. And it's going to start flowing. It's going to take some patience. It's going to take some time, but it's really making this much more easier to deal with. There's like a sense of big change happening here, something going from stagnant to movement, though all the work's been laid underneath it. It's like all the work's been done, and now we're starting to move forward, but it's going to be really gentle and really pleasant, palatable, able to be handled. So there's something here that you have to do. Sand down some edges, make something a little easier to handle, rough out, sand down some sort of, maybe a little bit of harshness that you might be feeling, or a little bit of something's a little too much, and it just needs to be softened just very gently. I mean, I just feel like this process from stagnancy to movement is going to be incredibly gentle for you. And you're to approach it gently and approach it calmly and approach it patiently, understanding, with a lot of understanding and patience, and bringing your own, bringing these things together, allowing this flow. I mean, the temperance is a lot about flow. And being in the flow and allowing things to flow. So whatever's been frozen is starting to flow, and I think you need to work with that flow. I'm almost seeing like a Tai Chi or a water bender, if we're actually gonna keep going with the world's best like comic drawn cartoon show ever is the oh my gosh, I lost the name, Avatar. So I'm almost seeing some water bending here, some working with your emotions, making them easier to work with, adjusting to them, but so much patience and so much gentleness. There is this wind coming through, but all I see is this patient, gentle response to these changing forces, and being very gentle with yourself, patient with the whole thing, patient as these emotions start to sand down or get sanded down or start flowing a little more. Where you're going, a place of recognition, the spotlight, success and recognition is yours. You're going to be standing in the spotlight. You're going to be celebrated. You're going to be successful, and your success is going to be appreciated and celebrated and supported. You're going to be very well supported in this. I just see this like movement from stagnancy. Some sort of communication came in. Was able to get around something that had previously been an obstacle for it. And that started the stagnancy and this movement. And it's a movement that you really want. You're not feeling it yet, but there is growth and there's movement here. And your job is really to allow it and to treat the changes very gently, very kindly, and you're going someplace very beautiful here with this Six of Inspiration. It's a success. And being honored by your community, being recognized for the growth and the success that you've done. So change is happening here. It's all has such a gentle vibe to me, such a sense of flow. And that's just your job, is to flow with it very gently. Are we going to get anything from this deck? Okay. There's a little dance. Magic of the moon to manifest. Just as the light of the moon ebbs and flows, all things happen according to a timing that benefits the greater garden of life. How short-lived that garden would seem if all flowers bloomed at once and then it was over. As the next moon grows full, set your intention. Your time for blossoming is near. That just seems to sum up this whole reading. It's a blossoming, though. It's a beautiful blossoming. And people will be appreciating your blossoms, and there is a sense of the timing having been stopped and having been frozen in time for a period, and it's starting to melt and starting to flow. So very beautiful reading, Pisces. I hope that that's helpful for you.